A police officer walks up to your window during a traffic stop and says, "Go ahead and unlock your phone for me." Maybe they say they just want to take a quick look. Maybe they claim it'll make things easier. Maybe they already have your phone in their hand. Now, your heart starts racing because almost everything about your life is inside that device. Your messages, your photos, your location history, your banking apps, your private conversations. And in that moment, a lot of people panic and make the same mistake. They start explaining. They start apologizing. Or worse, they unlock the phone voluntarily. So what do? What should you say? Can police legally force you to unlock your phone? And what happens if you refuse? If knowing your rights matters to you, subscribe now. Share this with someone who needs it and drop your opinion below. One wrong sentence during a police encounter can completely change the situation, especially when it comes to phones, because the moment you voluntarily unlock your device, you may be giving investigators access they otherwise would not legally have. And here's the important part most people never hear. There is a massive legal difference between complying with lawful orders and giving consent. Today, we're going to break down exactly what to say if police tell you to unlock your phone, the mistakes that hurt people every day, and the safest way to protect your rights without escalating the encounter. First, understand what the officer is trying to do. Your phone is not just another object. Courts have repeatedly recognized that smartphones contain enormous amounts of private information. In many situations, police need a warrant to search the contents of your phone. But officers also know something else. Consent changes everything. If you voluntarily unlock your device, hand over the passcode, or clearly agree to the search, you may be removing one of your strongest legal protections. That's why the first mistake people make is trying to look cooperative by unlocking the phone immediately. You'll hear things like this: "Come on, if you've got nothing to hide, just unlock it." Or, "We just need to clear something up real quick." A lot of people think refusing automatically makes them look guilty, but exercising your constitutional rights is not evidence of guilt. So here's the first phrase you need to remember. "Officer, I do not consent to any searches of my phone." Short, calm, clear. Not angry, not argumentative, not emotional. That sentence matters because it creates a clear record that you are not voluntarily giving permission. And notice what you are not saying. You are not physically resisting. You are not grabbing the phone. You are not arguing law on the roadside. You are simply refusing consent. That distinction is critical. Now let's talk about the second major mistake: talking too much. This destroys people in police encounters every single day. The officer says, "Why don't you want us looking through your phone?" And suddenly the person starts rambling. "Well, there's private stuff in there. My friend borrowed it. I deleted some messages, but it wasn't illegal." Stop. The more you explain, the more information investigators collect. Remember this: police are trained to gather evidence through conversation. Many people talk themselves into deeper problems because silence feels uncomfortable. Instead, stay focused and repeat the same calm position. "Officer, I'm choosing to remain silent and I do not consent to searches." That sentence does two things. First, it invokes your right to remain silent. Second, it makes your refusal to consent unmistakably clear. Now here's another trap people fall into. They think they must physically stop officers from taking the phone. Do not do that. If officers seize the phone, do not resist physically, even if you believe the seizure is unlawful. Roadside arguments are not the place to fight constitutional battles. You fight those in court with a lawyer, not with your hands. So if an officer says, "Hand me the phone," and they are physically taking possession of it, the safer response is, "I am not resisting, but I do not consent to searches of my phone." That wording matters. Why? Because you are separating non-resistance from consent. A lot of people accidentally waive rights because they comply silently. Later, prosecutors may argue the person voluntarily cooperated. Your words help clarify the situation. Now let's talk about passcodes and biometrics, because this area gets complicated fast. Some officers may ask you for your passcode directly. Others may say use your fingerprint or look at the phone so Face ID unlocks it. Different courts have treated passcodes and biometric unlocking differently depending on the jurisdiction and facts of the case. That's why you should avoid debating constitutional law during the encounter. Do not say you need a warrant, as if you're arguing with the officer on the roadside. Instead, calmly stick to this. I do not consent to unlocking my phone. I want to speak to a lawyer. Simple, professional, direct. And asking for a lawyer is important because once you invoke counsel clearly, questioning is supposed to stop in many custodial situations. But be careful here too. A lot of people say things like, maybe I should get a lawyer. That's weak language. Or, do you think I need an attorney? That's not clearly invoking your rights. Instead, say it plainly. I want a lawyer. No extra words needed. Now here's a huge mistake almost nobody talks about. People think deleting data helps them. Bad idea. The moment police contact begins, trying to destroy evidence can create entirely new legal problems depending on the circumstances. Do not start deleting apps, messages, photos, or call logs during an encounter. Do not reach suddenly towards your phone. Fast movements around officers can escalate situations dangerously. If your phone is in your pocket and the officer starts talking about it, keep your hands visible and move slowly. Another thing people do wrong is trying to educate the officer aggressively. You'll see videos online where someone starts shouting constitutional amendments 2 minutes into a stop. That usually makes the situation worse. You do not need to win the argument on the roadside. You only need to protect your rights clearly and safely. That means calm voice, no insults, no sarcasm, no sudden movements, no physical resistance, and no volunteering information. Here's what a safer exchange can sound like. Officer, unlock your phone for me. Citizen, officer, I do not consent to searches of my phone. Officer, why not? If you've got nothing to hide, this should be easy. Citizen, I'm choosing to remain silent and I want to speak to a lawyer. Officer, so you're refusing. Citizen, I do not consent to searches. Notice how the person is not debating, not explaining, not escalating. That restraint protects people. Now let's clear up another dangerous misunderstanding. A lot of viewers hear know your rights content online and think that means refusing every command police give. That is not smart. There's a difference between refusing consent and refusing lawful commands. For example, laws about identifying yourself, exiting a vehicle, or detention procedures can vary depending on the state and circumstances. This video is educational information, not personal legal advice. Real cases depend heavily on specific facts, local law, warrants, court orders, and safety conditions during the encounter. That's why the safest framework is usually this: comply physically when required, do not consent verbally, remain calm, remain silent, request a lawyer if questioning continues. And here's one more thing people overlook. Police sometimes use casual language intentionally. They may say, mind if I check something real quick? Or just unlock it so we can verify your story. That sounds casual, low pressure, temporary. But consent searches often start exactly like that. Do not mistake a casual tone for a casual legal consequence. Your phone may contain years of private information. Treat access to it seriously. So if you remember nothing else from this video, remember this exact framework. Officer, I do not consent to searches of my phone. I am choosing to remain silent and I want to speak to a lawyer. And if police proceed anyway, I am not resisting, but I do not consent. That combination helps you stay calm, avoid escalation, and avoid accidentally giving away legal protections. Because when it comes to your phone, one sentence can make a bigger difference than most people realize. And in the next video, we're breaking down another common trap during traffic stops, when officers say, mind stepping out of the vehicle for me, and what you should never say next.